Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Well, this has been a while since I've done this, but I can hear the stream going on my laptop. So let me fix
I can't
that.
hear it, but it's
Well,
probably
I can. It's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
bother the shit out of me, so
I get that.
I can
First
limit it
order
into
of
it.
business, though. After you do that,
Uh-huh.
happy birthday,
Happy
Bex!
birthday, Bex.
We love you, Bex.
Happy birthday,
We
Bixies!
love you.
All right, get
I
rid of
think Bex
that.
is having a good birthday. Plus, like the fun just keeps on going because the flap flaps are in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Freshwater flat flaps coming tomorrow, and I have fish coming tomorrow too. So
Nice.
it's a
Yay!
race to see whose fish comes
See who
first.
gets their fish first. I mean, if I were in this race, I would win because Dan's fish get to me in less than 16 hours.
That's incredible. I
It's
kind of wish
incredible.
I
And
could.
that's why I am at 280 out of 280 fish have arrived alive, which is pretty amazing.
I know, Bex. I'm terrible at this. Look, holy shit, Eric.
Eric,
Oh,
he's
thank you,
back,
Eric.
Dan.
Thank you. Oh
Eric.
my god. Because
Thank
it's
you,
episode number
Eric.
50. That's right.
I guess. Thank you, Eric. We appreciate you and we love you.
So,
So, oh, one more thing. Maybe I'll
ooh,
just pull my leg up a little bit. How about that?
that's very flexible of you.
It is
Look at
very
that though.
flexible.
What the fish leggings?
I know. Do you think that like my flexibility is enhanced by wearing what the fish leggings?
I'm gonna say yes.
They
And
are
that is
certified to increase flexibility.
Well, I
no,
mean, you
no,
are
not
more
certified.
flexible than
Not
like
certified.
hygiene.
FDA has not approved.
It's true. There's no FDA clearance for that. They got to get their 510K in. They got to get their data in line. I'll write it for them. Oh,
Oh,
Mark. Thank
Mark, thank
you.
you.
And
Thank you, Mark.
Scotty had a super chat before this stream. Scotty.
Oh, Scotty super chat for $2 says happy birthday, Bex. Thank you for paying me
Oh.
to say happy birthday to Bex.
Annette says I can add Kelley to the list of toes I've seen.
Mm.
I don't, a lot of people have seen my toes because nobody wears socks when they do yoga. You can always tell a dude who's never been to a yoga class before because they always come wearing socks. And you can't do yoga in socks. It just doesn't work. Like
I wear socks. Like I'm wearing socks right now. I feel like there are people who are like either I cannot wear socks ever or I have to wear socks all the time.
I
And
try to be barefoot. I'm a barefoot person. I think it's good to be barefoot because I think that if you're a person who never goes barefoot, you can't go barefoot because the muscles in your feet never develop right and you don't have enough flexibility or control and you get a lot of foot pain standing. But if you go barefoot at least a little bit, like a couple hours a day your entire life, you develop those muscles. And
now I don't wear shoes hardly ever.
okay, yeah, then that's
I
fine.
got sock because the way I am, unless the floor is just we have two kids, so it's not, and we
I
also
get
have
that.
three animals. But unless
Yeah, I get that.
the floor is spotless, if I step on anything that's not just floor, I just go.
I have
Yeah.
a very elderly dog. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I have a very elderly dog. Yeah. Lots of barefoot people. Bex, Jenna, Lady R,
Mhm.
all barefoot people. That's good. So Jake is a never barefoot person. And that's because his little feet are so sensitive because he's never gone barefoot. I mean, granted, at the farm, going barefoot is a bad idea.
No, yeah.
But he never developed the foot strength and flexibility and like the arch strength to go without them. But at yoga, you have to be barefoot. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I get that.
'Cause you can't ground down and you can't grip and you'll slide on your mat a lot and it's not good.
So Bateson wants to know, what about yoga and Crocs?
That does not
Probably
work.
wouldn't work.
That does not work. That does not work. So Scotty says, I am not wearing socks and I am not sending a picture of my feet to Annette to prove it. Okay. I mean, Annette wants that for her collection.
What does she do with that collection? Where does she log it by like, does she rate the toes?
I don't know, but Annette, the best toes in her collection are all the kitty toes. All the kitty toes.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
So I am disappointed in the panel and Jenna because I had to remember this on my own by seeing Mike enter the chat.
Mike! Hello,
Do
Mike!
you remember what you're supposed to remind me about,
Oh
Kelley?
my God!
Yes.
Mike!
book.
Mike has been so kind. He's giving away a copy of George Farmer's book, Aquascaping. Where did I put my copy?
Jenna's got my copy.
Okay, because I can't remember. I have a copy and I don't remember where I put it, but it is a beautiful book. It is a book I've recommended to so many people because even if you don't want to aquascape, if you just want to be better at growing plants, it's such a good book to help you. It's great for beginners, even more advanced people. It's great to learn from. George has done so much for the hobby. It's a beautiful book with beautiful pictures. George is so talented. There's lots of pictures of his own scapes, some of his friends. Yeah. Anyways, Mike has graciously donated a copy to one of our members.
So I need to. So I don't see Matt. So
or rather, one of our viewers. So we're gonna give a copy away sometime during this stream. I'm not sure when.
It's gonna come up with the hashtag right now, but
we gotta have a hashtag.
Let me see if I can. Apparently, I should be able to operate this here Fish Fam link wheel without Matt doing it for me. So let me see if I can do that.
Yeah. So Tommy says George Farmer posted a new video today. He has reworked a couple scapes. That's really cool. One thing I like about George is he does a lot of really sustainable scapes that last for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And other creators, I think they do really good work, but like they have escape ADD. And I don't think that's really realistic to what most people do. I think most people keep a tank set up for a while. And so that's why and I certainly do. So that's why I really like seeing George's work.
Right. Well, I like that his books, even if you don't do like beautiful scapes, like you said, it sets you up for success with a planted tank regardless.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just think that, and I think his methods will also lead to very healthy fish, very healthy, happy fish. The things he advised are very compatible. Now, if you want to know the ins and outs of breeding and stuff like that, that's not his thing. But I think he's done a lot of really great things for the hobby, and I love this book. And thank you so much, Mike, for giving away a copy.
Very much appreciated.
Yes. So gotta have a hash. So
I don't know how to do this. I'm gonna wait for
either.
I'll wait for Matt to come to the rescue.
Is Matt
I will use
the chat?
He was earlier, according to Jenna.
You had 4 days to learn this, Stephen. You tried on Wednesday, and then you could have.
You didn't do your homework. And Tommy says 100%. I love that about him, Kelley. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I love how I love his long-term devotion to his discus and his cichlids. I think that's really cool. And he's a very nice man. He's a very sweet man. I have met him. He has hugged me. He gives good hugs.
That reminds me, the George Farmer book that I have is autographed by George Farmer.
Wow.
So you were one of the in the beginning when he released his book in the very beginning.
No, he signed it in person at Aquashella.
Oh, nice.
Well, Jenna caught him like coming out of his talk at Aquashella Dallas and got him to sign it for me.
Wow.
I'm not one of those approach people and ask for their autograph type of people. Yeah. So,
but he would have done it. He's a very nice man. He's a very sweet man. So yeah, Tommy, if you hug me, you are vicariously hugging George Farmer. You're also, let's see, who else would you be? You'd be vicariously hugging Bex. I've hugged Bex, Kyle, Steven, Jenna. There you go.
Nice.
I think I hugged what's her name? Of KG, Lisa of KG Tropicals.
Nice.
I hugged her. So vicarious hug for her. She gives good hugs too, if I recall. I would have recalled a bad hug. So Eric Wyrock gives crazy good hugs. He gives like full body crush you hugs. So, I've gotten some good ones.
Okay, so I followed Matt's instructions.
So Geek Boy says, looks like I could set up the giveaway, but not sure if you would be able to share the wheel from here.
Well, I mean, I can just we'll probably just spin the wheel at the end for like a one and done. So let's see. Matt said, log into the site under the menu, choose giveaway tool. So I put in the hashtag and I clicked on create. And so I did that. And then it just went to that same page where it just says create giveaway. So does it exist now? And if so, where do I find it?
I did get a Scuba Steve hug, and it was a good hug. I weigh like twice what he does, and yet he's taller than me.
Did you pick him up?
Well, he's taller than me, so like the center of gravity would weird, but I probably could have. Scuba Steve-O is a slender man.
Oh, here we go. So go to active giveaways.
Tim, I've hugged Crypt Keeper. I've hugged him. So there you go. Hugging me gets you a lot of transitive hugs. By the transitive property of hugging.
All right. So the hashtag is going to be hashtag thanks, Mike.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one. Hashtag thanks, Mike.
And how, Geek Boy already found it. And he's like, I know this. I know how to do it.
Geek Boy is on it. He is with it. Let everyone get that in.
Whoa, Matt made upgrades.
Wow.
There's little animated icons on here. I don't have to refresh the site. I can just click the refresh button down here. So
I'm a little conflicted about Matt right now because on the one hand, I love fishfam.link. I'm a big supporter of fishfam.link, and I think everybody should contribute to Matt's Patreon. On the other hand, he wants to steal Fat Kitty.
Don't you have another orange cat that you can substitute? I do,
and he's in my house right now. This cat, so his real name is Schnitzel, but Jake and I have decided his name is Dumb Kitty.
Dumb Kitty.
So his dumbest little face. And he is spending longer and longer amounts of time in here. And he volcanically barfed in my office earlier. So thanks for that. You're an outdoor cat. You don't live here. You could go outside to barf.
Wait, if he doesn't live there, but he's in your house.
He doesn't usually spend the night. Let's put it that way.
Doesn't usually spend. So you're transitioning him to be your cat.
Yes,
he's your cat.
I don't have any say in this. He just does what he does. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Congrats on the new cat.
God damn it. His name is Dumb Kitty. Jake cannot, because he's the dumbest little look on his dumb little face.
Can't resist the dumb face though.
I know.
Like you look at that face and you're like, he couldn't live outside on his own.
I mean, he can. He just doesn't want to.
Nah. Yep.
He is slowly moving in. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, he walks in every morning and then sleeps in my house during the day, barfs in my house. He ruined one of Dog's beds. Dog deserves better. Damn it. Dumb kitty.
Ren always looks bewildered in the derpiest way.
Ren is the fluffiest of kitties. Oh, very fluffy kitty. Is his name Garfield? His name is Schnitzel. His brother's name Strudel.
Where is Strudel?
Well, Strudel is a little shyer and has not come in. And God damn it, we need to control this because I I have enough cats. I mean, I have 3 permanent residents and 1 transient, and I mean, the pressure on the cat boxes is immense.
You guys have one cat box?
Oh my God, we have 4 cat boxes. We probably will have to add another cat box.
Yeah, usually it's 2 plus. It's 1 per cat
1 per
plus
cat
1 or
plus
something.
1.
We just had 1 per cat, and now we have 1 per cat plus 1 because we
Yeah.
have 1 cat and I didn't throw the other one away. So
Yeah, when I just had Fat Kitty, I just had 1 box and he was fine with it. But then, as an aquascaping question, Bateson asks, is there any silicone glue people recommend versus others for stacking rocks together? Is silicone better than glue for the long run? So what I like to do, and this is a method used by many aquascapers, is I like to either use like pieces of cotton ball or cotton makeup pad or cigarette filter. And what you do is you put the rocks together and you kind of put the little piece of cotton between them. And then, let's see if I have some of it.
So yeah, or what's the cigarette filter
Mhm.
cotton? That's what I use because that's what
Filter is
Berkeley
made
had.
of
So I
cellulose.
use the same thing.
So you can get super glue that is liquid, the liquidy kind.
Mhm.
So you can buy it on Amazon, and you can get gel super glue, and you can get like runny liquid super glue, the low viscosity kind. So I use that, and it comes with a really, really long nozzle. And so what you do is you hold the cotton pad with your shitty tweezers and you saturate it with that glue, and then you can get this accelerator spray. It's Instaset. Buy this off of Amazon, and you give it a couple sprays, and you will see a chemical reaction take place, and it'll smoke. And you kind of want to keep your face away
Yeah,
from
don't
that.
breathe.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. And that hardens it really well. Smart people, and this is something that there was a guy aquascaping next to me. I can't remember his name, but if maybe Jenna will remember it. He was from ADG, which is a professional aquascaping group. And he had these like condiment bottles of different colors of sands. And he would take them and he would sprinkle a little of that on it before he would put the accelerator spray on it, because otherwise it's like this white, ugly
Right.
seam.
Mhm.
And
It also helps
Yeah.
bring a connection to the rocks, so it looks like the rocks are one piece.
yeah, and then it camouflages and it looks really good. So so Bateson says, I have some Gorilla Glue super glue, kind of mid viscosity, but yes, that accelerator spray. You can get the really, really liquidy stuff from
Yeah.
Amazon, and that's the stuff that's super easy to use. It has like this really, really long, skinny straw-like nozzle to saturate it with, and that's so easy.
So
It's easier than the gel. I like the gel for like Java ferns.
so there are other methods too.
Mhm,
Like
there
that
are.
I really like the super glue in the cotton ball because it just dries like concrete. Another thing for people who are building very complicated structures, and I learned this from Grant and Shelby doing theirs when they did their scape, they used a polymorph, which is like those
Yeah.
low melting point polymer beads that
Oh, yeah.
you can put it in like a double boiler or something. You basically get it melted. It kind of gets you can get it melted to the point of being like putty, and then you can stick those to the rocks, and that works pretty damn well. And the rocks kind of have to be porous because if you're sticking like a really slick surface to another slick surface, then it's going to come apart.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
You
that is
can also
another
use
method.
2-part epoxy. I wouldn't use silicone to put rocks together.
I wouldn't either.
It takes a long time to cure.
And then the other thing that I have not tried, but Bex did on her scape is the foam.
Yeah.
That's a great
Like
stuff on from. Yep.
Yeah.
it's not great stuff though. It's different. It has a different consistency
Oh,
to
the
it.
aquascaping from the yellow,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yellowish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Worry.
expand hugely like the other
That's
stuff
good.
does.
Yeah, because if you use the great stuff and you're not careful, if you have it
It gets
between like a rock and your wall of your tank,
it'll
Right. This stuff is meant it is aquascaping foam. It's meant for that.
Yeah.
And it stays put, and it seems to have kept everything in place without being like really gross or having harmful vapors or anything like that. So
Yeah, I really like the super glue. That's what I use. But there are other options. And George, I think it's in that book. He talks about some of them. So yeah, but you do want to glue your rocks together because otherwise they will not stay together. I mean,
yep,
they
very
will
much.
come apart.
Yeah, Bates and
Yeah.
thermoplastic beads is what they're called. What I ordered on Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, and Mike says so everyone can play. The winner can pick between George Farmer's book or I'll pre-order Ty Stratman's book since many folks already have George's. So that's a book I'm very excited about. That's a book on biotope aquascaping. Pretty cool.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah, very cool. So thank you, Mike. Another good book.
And I have not used the reef or the two-part epoxy. I mean, I've used it
I
for
haven't
a bunch of
either.
other things. I just haven't used it for aquascaping.
Yeah. I I think that kind of you need to pick a method that works for you. There's lots
Hmm.
of different methods. You know, I noticed that like when I watch Green Aqua, some of them only use the cigarette filter. And then like Balaj, he's like seems to be the only one who likes that two-part epoxy. So people kind of have a method they like
Yeah,
that
gotcha.
works for them. So there's other ways. But the thing about the silicone is like it takes a long time to cure and you would have to hold it that whole time or clamp
Right.
it or something. And that's really hard to do. So
Yeah.
you want something that sets up instantly.
I used it for gluing. I use silicone for gluing on backgrounds and stuff
Oh
whenever
yeah,
you
that
can
works,
clamp it and
sure.
everything. But
But that's something that can sit flat,
hmm
you know, but you can't clamp rocks. Just
nope.
doesn't work. So what is this about? I hope Cosmo gets better soon, lady. Is one of your pets sick? Oh no.
Oh,
It came on all of a sudden and I'm just dumbfounded. He doesn't act sick at all, but he has been vomiting, having loose stool, and a fever of 103. Oh,
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I
hope
hope
he feels better.
Cosmo gets better soon. Oh, it's so hard when a pet is sick because they
Mhm.
can't tell you what's wrong.
yeah. And a lot of times they even try to hide it to the extent possible.
They do. They do. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh.
So,
We have a topic. So, should we start by showing? Maybe we'll show it in person first.
okay. Yeah, let's do that.
There it is. Oh, we're in your
Lovely.
hydroponic wall.
So, what you got in there?
Sucked. It sucked so much, and we're going to talk about why it sucked. But first, we'll show the video, and I have a couple of still pictures of it. So there it is, the hydroponic wall. It's got 9 cups. And so I bought a kit, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. The cups are filled with leca, which is an expanded clay substrate. There's my hand. So I'm showing you the
Wait, is
valve.
that a airflow valve or water flow valve?
Yes, that's
Okay,
well, it is an air valve.
but it's for
We'll
water.
talk
Yeah.
about that in a minute too, modifications I do. And that's the water dripping. You can see it's a very slow trickle, nothing terrifying. And there's a cone. Yeah.
And there's a what?
This is it was the cone
Oh,
at the end of it.
the VLC media player cone.
Yeah.
So what kind of plants you got in there?
All right. Well, if you want to go to one of the still pictures I sent, I'll show them.
Did you send a still picture?
They're
And
in
did you send?
they're in Facebook.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple still pictures in there, and I'll show you what's in there. Otherwise, I'll just take my camera up and show you.
Let's see.
So in Genesis, I heard Kelley will exclusively DIY all projects from now on.
Ah!
Uh,
I hate DIY. I hate it.
haven't caught the DIY bug. Let's see. Is it the iCloud link? No, that was just the video.
Right, but in Facebook Messenger, there's a couple of still pictures.
And you sent those to me when?
Wow.
I'm like, do I have to scroll back?
Yeah, you have to scroll back
All
because I
right.
sent you a bunch of links of stuff I bought. Well, maybe I didn't send them.
Oh, you did. You did. Got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here we go. I tabbed all the links to the stuff too that you sent me. Here we go.
Oh, good. All right. Well, so I can't really see that because it's kind of small. But so I have to look at it. So on the top row, going from left to right, so that is Tratus Concha. Those used to be called Wandering Jews, but that is not. That's kind of a racist name, so we don't call them that anymore. So it's a Tratus Concha, and it's a variety that gets really pink. It's pink and white, so it's very pretty. And
Here, is
then
this better or like?
yeah, that's good.
Okay.
And then in the middle of the top row is a kind of fern. It's related to a staghorn fern. It's called a blue star fern. I've never grown that before, but ferns really like a lot of moisture and wet feet. So I think that'll do pretty well. And then to the right of it is a pinstripe calathea. And it's got fine pink lines on it. And I already know calatheas grow like a house on fire. I guess that made no sense. They grow really, really well in hydroponic setups. So I know that one will do well. And then in the middle row, there on the left side, that's a staghorn fern. And staghorn ferns like lots and lots of moisture. And I have one growing in a pot on top of my aquarium. So that should go really well. Then in the middle of that row, the red plant, that's a Rex begonia. And I've grown other begonias in my pond. And they just they just love hydroponic setups. So I'm very certain that'll do well. And on the far right of the middle row is a pothos. Pothos grows great hydroponically, no worries there. So that's that golden colored plant. Bottom row, left side is another calathea. So calatheas have lots and lots of different shapes. I have another calathea actually growing out of my aquarium right now, and it's doing super well.
I have a question about pothos before I forget.
Yeah.
Does it not like its roots trimmed?
It doesn't really care. I mean, I don't know. It's pothos. It's the easiest weed to grow out of an aquarium.
Oh, because for some reason I did a root trim on it, and I like a bunch of the leaves turned yellow. I just went ahead and trimmed those off.
Yeah.
I just figured like I'd done something because terrestrial plants and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, they'll grow back. I mean, it's an easy weed. Oh, so some people now they used to be called wandering Jews. They now call them wandering dudes. So there you go.
Is there a better name? I mean,
Tradescantia is their scientific name. Okay. But there are lots of plants in the genus Tradescantia. I mean, there are ones that are temperate ones that people grow in their gardens. They're spiderworts. So it's a huge genus. But anyways, in the middle of that bottom row, the speckled plant, that is one that I'm not sure will do well or not, but it was on sale. I like the look, whatever.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
It is a Stardust Dracena. I think that one, I don't know. They like to dry out a little more before they're watered, but sometimes plants surprise you. So maybe it'll do well. But if it doesn't, it was a cheap plant. And then on the far right is a palm. I don't remember which one, but Brookley gave me that.
Is it the parlor palm?
Yes, the parlor palm.
Because, yeah, she gave me that too.
Yeah, she gave that to me, and I stuck it in there, and it'll probably do great. So
it's doing great for me, and I don't know nothing about nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty. I've grown them before. That's a plant that Fat Kitty really loves to murder because they're grassy. but he doesn't go up on top of this aquarium, so it should be fine. So, anyways, I mean, I guess the conclusion of this is I am extremely happy with the final result of this. I
Just
think
not the process
it
involved
was
to
such a
get to it.
pain in the ass. I mean, we'll tell the story of that now, but I'm really happy with this. It's going to be zero maintenance. It's beautiful. Um, I mean, it'll only get better with time. I love it. But anyways, so I bought this thing on January 1st.
Did you buy it for $183 and
I did not
58.75 cents?
no. So I bought it from a European
What
export
the
company.
hell?
So I couldn't sleep on I think December 31st. And I don't know, looking at some Facebook group and I saw someone had used this and I'm like, oh my God, I have to have this. So this is the Aqua L Versa hydroponic wall. And I'm like, I just have to have this. So this is a European product. It is marketed in Europe. The only place I could find it where I could buy it is this export company. So this is not an aquarium purveyor. This BricoCon or Brico Inn or whatever, they sell all kinds of shit. They sell sporting goods, clothes. You know, this is not like buying from the co-op.
And if you're interested in buying it, too bad.
It's oh, is it out of stock?
It says, sorry, this product is no longer available, which suggests
Oh
that it's
no.
like not just out of stock.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
I
But it's
mean,
tied to the euro. That's why it's a weird price. So I got
right.
it from this export company. When I bought it, I think shipping was like $15 or $20, which was not bad. I think it was like $130 shipped. It was not $185 before shipping or tax. Like with everything, it was like $130, which is not bad.
Oh,
And
I just went to the same site.
it comes with the cups. It comes with the media. It comes with a pump and a light. And so I thought, wow, it's just this all in one kit. Wasn't that much money, you know, $130 shipped, whatever. It's not so bad. I don't like to DIY things. We'll just buy it. So it took 3 weeks to get here, which fine. It's coming from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't get it set up because I don't know, I was sick. I went to visit Steven, blah, 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 blah. You know, I didn't start setting it up till I think end of February. I went on vacation. And then, so I open up the package, and the first thing I notice is it has a European plug. Okay, fine. Like, I ordered a European product. So I ordered a couple of adapters on Amazon. That was $6. I also ordered 2 extension cords because the cords weren't long enough. Okay, fine. So the adapters were like $6. The plug was like $10. Okay.
So is this?
So it kept adding up and up.
Oh, we're not to that yet. We're not to that
Okay.
yet.
We're still on this. Okay.
We're still on the background of things I spent that I didn't send you. So then I
I don't want to update.
I get the adapters and I plug the light in, and I sent Steven a picture of this. This is the light that came with it.
Like, is it on?
Yeah. So this is the light. It came with it. It's like a little tube, you know, and terrestrial plants, they don't need much light, right? Because these are jungle plants. They grow in shade. They don't need much. But the window is over here. So plants are not going to grow very well on that light without some light. But anyways, this light is so dim that I had to turn off my room lights to see if it was on at all. So, and this is what the plug looks like. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is a European plug. So I'm like, well, this light is garbage. It's just trash. So I ordered another light, which plant lights are cheap, but I ordered a light that I couldn't use because I was dumb and I actually ordered the wrong light. Whatever, I've repurposed it. I'm using it above this tank because I have immersed plants growing here. So at least I could use it. But that was one thing I screwed up. So I'm already down so that light was like $20. So I've already spent like $36 extra on this, and I'm not where I want. So then Jake installs it for me. And this is pretty easy to put up. It's just a couple of screws. He put it up for me. No big deal. It was pretty easy to put in. But we couldn't turn it on yet because I didn't have the adapter to see if it Chihiros.
And then you move one of the 3.0s to the aquaponics.
The 3.0 would roast those plants.
Yeah.
It would roast them. They don't need
It's a
that.
bit too much light for.
Roast them. They don't need that much light. But anyway, so I hadn't put the adapter, but I'm like, I can put the pump on myself. It's no big deal. Well, the pump is this. It's like a little power head. So it has this European plug, and it's just a little power head. Okay.
Yep.
Can't lift. It's too wussy to lift a column of water. It just, yeah.
Why is it even there?
Yeah. So, and CoralWorks says that the light isn't made for European plugs. Isn't it meant for 220 voltage then too? Of course, it's too dim. It's barely running. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know nothing about power. Jake didn't mention anything about it. I don't know. I don't know anything. I am just a simple geneticist. I don't know these things, you know? So, yeah. Bex is just turn it down to like 5%. It'll be fine. But I don't want to spend that kind of money. I did get another light. This light was $15 and it works fine. The light that I have up there now, it's fine. So I ordered another power head and it was the fittings weren't compatible with it. Didn't work fine. So I'm at another $10. And I ordered a small pond pump, a really tiny pond pump. I think it was $6 or $7. No big deal. I'm like, I am determined to get this to work. But the fittings of it, the tubing was too big. And I sent Steven videos of trying to get to work, and it was terrifying, the flow rate.
Yeah, it was just blasting the...
Yeah, because the thing is, this is like, you want this to be a bare trickle because, well, first of all, it was so loud that like I would probably want to pee my pants all day. It was so loud. And second of all, like if it slipped or fell, it would drain my tank. It was terrifying, you know, like you just want a faint trickle. And so I'm so frustrated about it. But thank God for the aquatic moose who helped me get this pond pump to work.
Nice.
So he found me a reducer to reduce from the larger diameter tubing to airline tubing because that's what it's meant to fit. So that's one of the links I sent you.
Okay, that one is... Wait, this one? Yeah, here we go.
Oh, we maybe show the pond pump first.
Which is...
Third link I sent you. Yeah, so that's just a cheap little pond pump, but that tubing is too big. It's terrifying coming through at that rate. And there's no linkage roll. So now it says it's $16. Maybe it's gone up in price. Maybe I spent $16. I don't know. I've spent a lot of money on this project.
I can tell you. I got this thing.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So it looks like it's been $16 since March, and then before that it was $16.99, so $17. So
maybe I spent $17 on it. I don't know.
Oh,
spent a lot of money on this project, but I was determined to get this to work because I'm just sick of it. So the moose, thank you, moose, ung. He because he's doing hydroponics, he sent me links for reducers. So a little connector to reduce the diameter so it can hook up to tubing. So if you want to show that link, they're the little blue things. So I got a bunch of those. I just needed one, but they come in a package of 10.
Yeah.
So that was $10. And so you can see like all this stuff is adding up.
So we're at $27.
I had airline tubing, and some airline tubing came with it. So, and then he also suggested to me to use a little airline valve so I can control the flow. And so that was that little thing there. That was like $2. So I don't know if we add this all up, it's a lot of money. And if you wanted to do it, I can at least suggest to you the right things to buy so you could do it. Or maybe you could just not buy this because also it's gone up in price and I don't know if you can buy it. But yeah, I spent a lot of money on this project. I spent more money on this project than I did on the plants.
This
And
is
I
a
mean,
surprisingly cheap light, though. $12.79, and then there's a 20% coupon on it.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
and that's why I always tell people if you're for house plants, like don't use a Chihiros, don't use a Nylac G. That's absurd.
Mhm.
I mean, just get a cheap houseplant because they don't need much. So Corworks asks, how much water volume have you found the system takes out of your tank? Do you have to keep your water level visibly low in case of power outage? Um, it's, I mean, if the power went out, it's just going to drain back into the tank.
Well,
'Cause
right, but what he's saying is you've got water constantly moving down those cones, and if the water is not like pumping out of the tank, is the water that's in the cones just?
Oh, it's so little.
That's
It's
what I was
not
wondering. Like, if
gonna,
it's just a
yeah.
couple of gallons, it
But
wouldn't make
yeah,
a
like the
difference.
thing is it gets to the point where it can't drain any lower
Mhm.
because of the way the cups are designed. So like the power could go out and it wouldn't matter at all. It's not like it's gonna everything drain into your tank. Like some of it will sit in the cups.
Especially
And
if when the water is coming up, there's
yeah,
a break right where it's coming into the system. It doesn't
yeah,
go all the way to the bottom. It just releases at the top, and then the drain's also the same level. Then, as soon as
yeah.
it passes that mark, all
Oh,
the
then you got
stuff.
like an auto top off.
Yeah, it's could you consider your aquaponics steel an overhead sump? It's so little extra water volume, not really. I don't think so. I mean, it is a little extra filtration. I am upping my fertilization because once these babies get going, I know from my 90 gallon, they suck down ferts like nobody's business because terrestrial plants have unlimited CO2. And if they have light and adequate nutrients, they're going to grow really fast. So they're going to suck down a lot of nutrients. And some people do use this as a way, aquaponics, like if you were raising tilapia or something, which are really gross fish, to remove nitrates from their system. But in my case, like I'm already adding a ton of nitrates to my tanks and I'm going to add a ton more. I mean, so, in some ways
It's
it's
noise.
added,
Noise.
yeah, no noise. So yeah. Anyways, I guess I am happy. So out of this kit, I used the tubing that came with it. I use the substrate. It's just Leica, which is a cheap substrate. That's fine for aquaponics. Doesn't matter at all. I use the cups, but I didn't use the light or the pump because they weren't adequate. And was it Coro who said that it's on the wrong voltage? I don't know. I don't know those things. I'm just a geneticist. I don't want to DIY or think about electricity or power or pumps or valves or
Yeah.
anything like that.
I
That is
don't know enough to say whether that makes a difference because, like, when I buy phones, a lot of times I will get the international version of the phone because it's completely carrier unlocked and all
yeah,
that, and it comes with a European plug.
yeah,
And I think the adapter you get does do a voltage conversion
yeah,
for you. I just don't know if that's well, because like when you have a charger on a phone, the charger kind of the phone. Well, actually, the phone kind of determines how much charge it will draw from the charger. I just don't know if that's
yeah.
the
And
same kind of
I
regulation.
asked Jake about it. I'm like,
Right?
is it not working because it's a European thing? And he rattled off some words. I feel like he would know. He's an engineer.
Probably. Yeah.
So,
So
but
he
I
said
don't, but I
words.
don't know anything. Like I really only know about genetics and cats. I feel like I know a lot about cats
In cat genetics.
and cat genetics. I mean, but yeah, so I don't like DIYing, as everybody knows. If you are a person who likes DIYing, I'm sure that you could come up with a more elegant system for less money.
You know how this is. You know this is how DIY starts because you you bought all this stuff, but you didn't need it all. And so, like, what are you going to do with those other reducers? What are you going to do with the tubing that you don't need? You got to use it for something, right?
I mean, I don't know. I like to just give things to the metalheads that I don't use.
I guess you could do that.
Yeah, I mean, the extra lights I bought, I did use because I put them above this tank, and I didn't trim my zip ties. I didn't do it, and I may never do it. And I know that is eating up Mike's soul. It hurts him.
It just takes a snip.
He's gonna fly over one day and just.
He's just gonna fly into town and be like, "Step aside, Kelley. I'm trimming your zip ties."
I'm a tall person, and so when I mount things with zip ties, what prompts me to trim them finally is whenever I walk into them or bend over into them and they poke me in the eye.
You know, that's not going to be an issue unless you're like 9 feet tall. I have elevated ceilings and they are way, way up on the ceilings. So you are tall, but you are not that tall. I mean, I have to get up on a chair to like mount these. I have very high ceilings. So
you are affecting Mike's health right now.
I'm sorry. Oh god. Oh god. Because some plane is gonna crash because of these zip ties.
You can send all your junk to Moose. I bet he would figure out something to do with it.
He would. I should just send all this junk to Moose because I'm not going to use it. I mean, the airline tubing, I can obviously use that, but like I have an extra power head I don't need, and I don't know.
Well, you can always use a power head in times of.
It's true. I mean, there is. I mean, I could maybe use it in my pond for something. So, I mean, there are other uses. If the pond pump hadn't worked, well, I could have put it in a pond. So it's not like I never use other parts, but I really just like things to come out of the box and work. I'm not a person who enjoys the DIY aspect of this hobby. I don't enjoy it. I really enjoyed planting these. I really enjoyed thinking about the plants. I really enjoyed buying the plants. I really enjoyed thinking of how I was going to design them. I will enjoy having them. But I don't enjoy pumps, electricity, or anything like that. Yeah. So,
oops, sorry, I meant to say.
Yeah. So,
Lady Rorschach,
See you later.
Keep us updated, please.
Yes, keep us updated, and you will be in our hearts. So, wishing your doggy well, your pet, your Cosmo well. So, but in conclusion, if you want to do this for yourself, I can give you all the links for it so you can buy it.
But if you were going to recommend, since you have to basically spend more money to make that work, do you have an alternative recommendation for doing this wall? Especially if you like to do DIY.
I don't. And that's the thing. Like, I've looked at other hydroponic walls, and I would want one that mounts above the tank on a wall. I would also really like one that's a tower to go between the tanks that I could take water from the 90 and feed it through. But it kind of starts getting beyond my skill set to do. I mean, there are towers, but I've looked and I can't find one. So maybe if somebody else finds one, they can recommend it. But I've never
seen the standalone ones, but they're not conducive for the draining into the tank.
No, and I can't remember, was it Coral Works said there was some company I think called Aqua Sprouts, but they fit over the tank like a bracket, and they're only for like either 10-gallon tanks or some other size, which I don't have. And I don't want something that's a bracket to fit over the tank because my light goes there. You know,
right. I think that's what Coro just mentioned, a grow bed, so it goes like right above the tank.
Yeah, and so I don't want that. You know, I only have a small amount of space, and I like the concept of this little wall. And if you're a person who wants to grow food, you could grow like some lettuces would probably do pretty well. I mean, there's not a lot that can grow, but I just wanted to grow a few houseplants. So, you know, yeah, and there are towers. I could maybe do a tower between these two tanks, but then there's plumbing involved, you know, where I would take water from the 90 and pump it out and then return it to the 90. And then that gets scary because what if some fucking cat hits that connection?
And then it drains to the floor.
Yeah, and some fucking cat will, because there's too many fucking cats in this fucking house. So, you know.
With 2 more on the way, making
Ah!
their way into the house.
I mean, usually the rules of like schooling fish, you need at least 6. So that should apply to cats too, right?
Schooling
Yep.
cats. No.
Cats aren't schooling animals. They're not pack animals.
They're shoaling at best.
Only because they have to.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, I don't, this may be my only foray into aquaponic systems, which is fine. You know, that's okay. I only have limited room.
I mean, I guess you could hang a bucket of dirt from the wall with a nail and put a pump in a hole through that.
Well, that sounds like a great idea. Let's
Mhm.
never do that. Let's agree to get together and never do that. That also sounds like DIY, and I don't want to do that. I mean, I was attracted to this because it looked like something, it's installed with just a few screws. Jake put the sucker up in 15 minutes for me.
Well, ultimately, it does look better than DIY because you did buy the kit, so you have at least the facade of something that was prefabricated.
Right, and it does look nice.
Mhm.
And this is my dining room. This is not a fish room. Like, I don't want this to look ghetto. Like, you know, this is one area of my office looks ghetto. This is one area of my house I like to look kind of nice. So
you had your dining room table set up and everything for Easter.
I did. Oh,
very fancy Easter breakfast.
My tulips. I also had a fancy Easter dinner. The cats are trying to fuck up that tablecloth, though, because it's what they do.
Because it's plastic, isn't it? Is it crinkly plastic or is it actual cloth?
Like, they cannot resist a clear open table. They just want to get on the table and roll on it and take their little claws and claw at it. No, it's just like a regular fabric tablecloth. But so Coreworks says, I still think you should spend the money on the 29-gallon Aqua Sprouts kit because I can't afford it and it looks pretty cool. I don't like 29 gallons. That's a terrible footprint.
And while you're at it, go and
good. A 40-gallon is awesome. A 29-gallon is the worst.
They're okay. I mean, breeding projects. I would not say I want to buy an aquascape tank and go get a 29.
Yeah, and I only have 3 tanks, and for me to add a tank, I consider very, very carefully because I have limited time, limited room. This is something Bex and I are in total agreement on. Quality over quantity with tanks. We try to really thoughtfully consider the tanks that we have because there's only so much time to keep them groomed and looking nice. And, you know, I just can't handle more than a few tanks.
Right. And if you find you can't handle what you've got, don't be afraid to break one down and revisit if you later on.
And if I were going to set up any other tank, I would set up the 72-gallon tank that I got at Aquashella that is beautiful. I mean, it's so, so nice. And, you know, I have a wall directly across from me. I could set it up there. And then there would be space for another aquaponic wall. But I don't know that
But you want to do your macroalgae tank soon, or not soon, but eventually, right? Like, in this house or the next house?
Probably the next house because I would want infrastructure for RO water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
True.
And, you know, if I'm going to move, I'm going to upgrade this sucker
to a 240.
To a 220. Yeah, 240. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
something like
huge.
It's like triple the rainbows.
Annette says a 70-gallon pond snail tank. God, Jake would love that.
Jake would love that, yep.
So Jake told me that he wants to set up a Facebook group called Pond Snail Protectors. And anyone who tries to join, who asks the question, how can I get rid of my pond snails? Automatic
ban.
Automatic insta-ban.
Pond
Snail Protectors is like the Wish.com Mystery Snail Guardians brand.
And Annette's going to be his first. She's going to be his first member of Pond Snail Protectors. So Jake loves pond snails. They're his favorite. Yep, Bex, we're not showing him your latest TikTok. Nope.
We're not writing a song about taking care of pond snails either. I can tell you how to raise them real fast as puffer food, though, because
Don't tell Jake that. Don't tell him.
hey, but you gotta. The pond snails and bladder snails are like the shell den eye staple of food. They're very easy for them to eat.
And Whip says, I'm with you there, Kelley. I struggle with the 7 I have. I don't know how some people deal with 60, 70, 80, 100 tanks. I don't know either. It's too much for me. And especially with these big planted tanks that require a lot of, with CO2, there's more maintenance that has to be done. I just can't. I just don't want that many. And Whip has his big monster fish, and they require a lot of care too. So, yeah. Mark says pond snail protectors coming soon. Duckweed defenders.
I will not support duckweed defenders.
I will not.
Nope.
I do not endorse duckweed defenders. I do not support this group.
I will actively troll the duckweed defenders group to talk about here's how you get rid of duckweed.
Wet Your Plants officially does not endorse this group.
And you see what Beck said, don't show Jake my latest TikTok, because she has the TikTok of a barb holding a snail in its mouth and zipping around trying to keep the other fish from it.
I want to see that. It's so funny. I'll spend all this money on like these expensive rainbows. I spend a lot of money on rainbows, let's face it. I'm like, oh, there's a really healthy pond snail population. It looks good.
Damn it, Foxy, now I feel bad.
The whole aquarium hobby started with a single pond snail for me. I love pond snails too. Oh, that would make Jake very happy. He loves pond snails.
I used to hate pond snails a lot more than I do now, because I was a newbie, so I was overfeeding, and the snails are everywhere. But now I have what I would consider a normal population of bladder snails, pond snails, and ram's horns everywhere. And now I focus all my hate on Malaysian trumpet snails.
Yes, those are.
That's fair. That's fair. They've never seemed to take hold in these tanks. But when I lived in Iowa, maybe it was because I had really, really hard water. Oh my God, just the substrate was like 2/3 Malaysian trumpet snail. It was, and then when the lights would go off at night.
Yep. There are 3 reasons I hate Malaysian trumpet snails. Like, 3 main reasons. 1, they can become the majority of your substrate instantly.
Yep.
2, when they die, their shells are indestructible. They will become a part of the substrate. So like you will have cones and just cones and cones and cones.
Oh God.
Number 3, I am lazy and don't film in the day. And I like to film during the night. And like you turn the light back on and there's all the Malaysian trumpet snails everywhere. You can't film.
Exactly. I have to shoot all my tanks at night, mostly because during the day they're close to windows, or they're like across from another tank that has lights on. There's just too much going on in the day. There's a lot of glare. So
I would say your kids are making a bunch of noise, but they're not. I've met your kids. They're making no noise at all. They're the quietest children I've ever met.
Yep.
I'm way louder than them. Yeah. And you also have a photo period that has a bunch of time on in the day for Jenna to enjoy your tanks. Whereas my lights don't come on till noon. So
some of mine are like that.
Mine go from noon to 10. So that way I can, because I'm a little more nocturnal too. So I don't want my tanks to come on really early. So, Austin is scheduled for 10 p.m. Oh,
okay.
We can go a little later. All right.
Nice.
I wonder if that's going to be a regular thing for Austin.
I don't know. It might depend more on his work schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Foxy Ann says, did you know there are many different Malaysian trumpet snails? We have the red-rimmed Malaysian trumpet snail variety. Very fancy. I did not know that. I still don't want them.
Yeah, they don't look fancy when they exist in the thousands. I don't care what they look like.
The only time they look good is when they're still small and like you can get up, you can use a macro lens and like the shells are pristine. But as soon as they get old, you can see the wear and tear on the shell, and they look bigger, and it's not very pleasing to the
I
eyes.
would be fine if there were like 5 of them. But the fact is
Well,
like I've
there'll be
never
5
seen
of them for every granule of aqua soil you have.
It's never 5. It's like 5 million.
I'll go out on a limb and say I would be happy if there were only 50 of them.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
I mean, even 100 is still
Even
like
100.
yeah.
Because I feel like I have like a regular number of rams. I have a lot of ram's horn snails and pond snails. I have more ram's horn snails than pond snails. Jake is also pro ram's horn snail. He's fine with that.
I like ram's horns.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Ram's horns are
Fine.
cute.
They're welcome in pond snail protectors. But no Malaysian trumpet snails. They're not welcome. So, yeah. But I don't remember how we got on this topic. I hate
Nails.
Snails. Whenever you have Annette in a chat, it always comes back to snails.
Yeah. I upset her because, I've got this puffer and the puffers have to eat snails, although I do have the oyster shells and I made up some rapashi with it. She didn't touch it. So I'm going to have to, I don't know, maybe I'll change the recipe. It was Community Plus and Agapo Explorer. I think I'm going to order grub pie and try that.
Okay.
That seems more in line with what they eat.
Yeah, I hope it works. Annette says, what are Jake's thoughts on bladder snails? I think Jake is just general pro snail. I don't even think he knows the name of any snail. I think he just, because I have also the Clethon snails. He is just in general pro snail.
So he just calls them stripy snail, swirly snail,
climby snail,
big pooping snail, mystery snails.
Well, I don't have any mystery snails. I'm sure he would love a mystery snail, but I like CO2 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're not compatible, and I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get a mystery snail if I don't have the right environment for it. It's not a good thing to do. So
Precious wants it in seashell shapes.
Well, she does. Oh, she does. She's fussy. And that's as if you don't put a ring on Jake soon. A snail. A snail lover might. I mean, the number 1 snail lover is already married, so I'm safe. I'm safe.
Yeah, was that a threat from Gardens? Like,
you're already married, Annette. Your husband would have issue with that.
They do wacky things up there in Washington.
Jake needs his own tank. Jake doesn't want his own tank. He has
He likes watching. He doesn't like working on it.
I don't think he cares that much about my tanks. I mean, he does things for me because, he's good to me, and it's what a man does. But he doesn't care. His hobby is high-end stereos and stereo equipment.
Oh, yeah.
And Duolingo, learning German. That takes a lot of his time.
Is he still, so he's back from Germany. Is he still learning German, or is he kind of taking a break?
No, this streak never ends. He has been doing it for well over 1,000 days.
Wow.
Yeah, he does about 45 minutes a day, every single day. And he's gotten really good. But no, he doesn't, there's no days off. Some days he just does the minimum if he's busy, but his doesn't average 45 minutes a day. So
I love the idea of doing that and being fairly fluent in another language. I'm not gonna, there's no way I'm gonna do that.
It's like a video game, though. It's kind of addictive. Like, it has points you score in leagues, and
so it's the competitive learning for a language. You're passively learning the language while playing a game.
Yeah, if you can trick me into learning something.
I mean, it's work still. I mean, I don't want to diminish his accomplishments, but the app does make it really easy. So apparently, Annette says there is a snail lady in Scotty's club. So competition. I mean, I feel like I hold my own.
And currently,
my man,
the snail lady and Jake are on other sides of the country. So
That helps. I
Kelley
mean,
is closer to
he's
Jake than
willing
the
to
snail
drive.
lady is.
He does drive like 5 hours a week for me, but I don't know if he's willing to drive to like the East Coast for me or for a snail lady. So
there we go.
the only language that matters, dirty words. Geek Boy is pretty fluent. I will agree with that. So Genesis, Foxy will be at the Clash, ready to tempt Jake with snails. There is no scenario in which Jake will ever set up his own aquarium. I don't see it ever happening. He is very content for me to have my aquariums. So, also, he is not home a lot at his own house because he has a pretty long commute. He gets home kind of late at night because he works out and, and he has to go to bed.
It's a 2-hour commute, isn't it?
It's an
hour
hour
and a half.
It's an hour, maybe hour and 15 minutes. So
That's still too long.
yeah, it is too long.
Says me who does not commute.
Yeah, I agree. I have to walk downstairs. That's my commute. So yeah.
Oh, how horrible.
So I just realized like there might be people here who were only expecting to stay an hour. So just out of courtesy for them, we should probably do
That's
this
true.
giveaway.
We should spin. Maybe some people have to go eat dinner.
Yeah. So again, if you weren't here at the beginning, we're giving. Well, Mike, All Things Fish, has agreed to give away a George Farmer aquascaping plant book, or what was the other one? Ty Stratman or
Strataman, something like that. Yes.
Yeah, I've not heard of
It's
that
a
one.
biotope type aquascaping book.
Yeah,
which was a collaboration with George Farmer.
Okay. Sweet.
I guess I haven't entered. I could. Well, I have to go on the YouTube side. You know what? I'm not going to enter. This is my own stream. I don't want to take away other people's chances.
You can enter if you want.
That's all right. I'll buy it when it comes out.
So the hashtag is hashtag thanks Mike if you're interested in either one of those books.
Yes, and thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much, Mike. Sorry we kept forgetting for weeks to give it away, but
so forgetful.
If it's not if it's not in front of me and someone telling me to do it in that moment, like
and I didn't remind him. So
yeah.
Speaking of book authors, I think that next week we are going to have Ted Kelley on, the author of the Tub Pond Handbook. And so that'll be very exciting. Hopefully we'll have some good conversation with him. Hopefully you guys will have some good questions for him.
So he's on board for next week. I know he had Easter plans pop up this week, right?
Yes, his children have stayed longer. They're visiting, so. And thank you, Whip. That's very nice of you. Well, should we spin?
I
give it a minute or so.
Yeah, just seeing if anyone's gonna. Yeah. Benjamin Peters, are you the same Benjamin that's going to Aquafest this weekend? He says yes.
Yay! Yeah, I hope you guys have a good time at that. I mean, you'll get to see Jess. That's always good.
Yeah, it'll be fun to hang out there regardless of what vendors. And I for sure will bring as many fishies as I can. I have like 4 shipments of fish to send out tomorrow, and then whatever's left, I'm bagging those bitches up.
Endlers and Plecos, gonna get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
I approve of this. Get rid of all your live bears and all your Plecos. You'll be a happier person.
Not all of. I have a very beautiful male longfin albino in the 90 that does not destroy my swords, and so he's allowed to stay for the time being. The rest of the Plecos, they go bye-bye though.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to replace them all with corridors.
Yes,
that's I would rather
the superior catfish.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know what? I didn't tell people about the new fish I got. I got new fish last week.
You sure did.
I did. I got 4 more red tail eels, which I made a video, or I made a short of them for YouTube if you want to watch them. Which I don't make many shorts. So there you go. And I got more Stiphodon gobies. This time I got Atropurpureus. I really like them. They're cool. I got 12 of those and 4 more eels. So I got a lot of fish. I'm now up to, I've ordered 280 fish from Dan, of Dan's Fish, and all 280 have arrived alive, which is pretty great. I'm beating the average. So, Mike, I actually made a video. I made a short. So what I do is like I make them for Instagram, and then I'm like, I guess people want to see these on YouTube. So
Yeah, you might as well cross post.
I have made 2 shorts, and both of them have done over 500 views. So I guess that's good considering I have almost no subscribers. So.
Yeah, it means they push them out in the algorithm. Enough people watch enough of it for YouTube to recommend it to a few more and a few more.
I figure like I'm just always going to use classical music for them because I like classical music and I want to promote classical music, and a lot of short music is horrible and needs to die in a fire. It's auto-tuned, it's loud.
It's cyclical. Like there's these songs that are super popular, and so all the videos use that song, and then it gets, in a couple of weeks to a month, people stop using it completely and you move on to something else.
If I see one more short with that stupid like I Am Your Mother song by What's Her Face, I will just take my phone and hurl it into the river. Hate that song.
Bex enjoys your music choices.
Thank you. I really love classical music. Myrtle and I we're classical music champions. We love it.
I enjoy it too. I mean, my knowledge of it is not as great, but I definitely enjoy listening to it because
definitely. Of us three, Kelley has the most extensive knowledge in classical music. I just listen and write
more. I wish I had more. I would like to take music theory. So Jake and I were talking about, so when we judged the science fair, the woman who ran my division, she was a very cool lady. She was a retired engineer, and in her retirement, she is taking 1 course a semester in geology and getting a degree. Like we were talking about, like, would we do that? And I'm like, not for science, but maybe I would for music theory. I would enjoy that.
Yeah, music theory is fun. Like I can nerd out about that a little bit. And
Jake hates music theory. That was like, I mean, he would get like A's in physics, no problem. But like
some of the stuff in music theory is hard.
It's really hard because like there's a lot of sight singing, and he hated sight singing. It's really hard. I would love to do sight singing, and I think I'd be good at music theory. So, but I'm terrible at physics, so can't be good at everything.
There are people who can just like sing a note without a reference note. Like,
yeah, I have a lot
music and I can sing a C.
I can tell what note a note is and if it's sharp or flat, but I can't sing a note like on command.
But if you can hear it, you can sing it. You just have to practice. I don't have perfect pitch. Like I have relative pitch, so I can like. I know what an interval is, like I know what a third is or a fourth. I know when things are sharp or flat. But like I can't tell you that's an E or that's an A. But I have a few friends who can do that, and they're amazing. Like they could tell you what key something was in, or they could tell you like this is like an A flat minor 9 chord or something like that. I'm like, how do you do that?
I can I couldn't tell you that it was an A flat minor 9 chord, but like if I can hear the chord, I can say, oh, suspended 7.
That's pretty good. See, and I don't have that level of knowledge
because it has a certain feel and tone to it. When the third goes away and they replace it with something else, you can really tell.
And I don't know my chords as well because, like, when you're an orchestral player in an instrument that doesn't have chords. You don't
have to pay attention to the chords as much as just playing the right notes. Yeah.
You played in jazz bands, so that's where you learn your chords. But I didn't, so like I would have to go outside what I did to learn that. But I would like to learn it, so we should probably draw.
Yeah, because I'm seeing still 34. So
Whip is
thin, and I shared audio.
Before we draw, real quick, Tommy had a question. What's our favorite period to listen to music when it comes to chill time? I don't have a specific period, but Sibelius, his music is something that I would listen to.
That is my favorite composer too, Myrtle. I love Sibelius. Oh my God, I love Sibelius.
I can't name a single song he's written, but just go into Apple Music or anything and then just set up a Sibelius playlist and just listen to everything that goes on.
The Second Symphony from Sibelius is so good. The violin concerto, it's the best violin concerto. I love Sibelius. My favorite composer, I do really love Sibelius. I really love Bach. So that would be Baroque. Other Baroque composers, though, can't compare to Bach. There is no composer who can compare to Bach. I mean, it's just the most perfect expression of human thought. I mean, I'd never get tired of it. But I love lots of composers. I do really love Sibelius. I like a lot of romantic composers. I like Beethoven. Yeah, I like Brahms. I like Brahms a lot. So Telemann, Handel. I've played a lot of Telemann. I've played a lot of Handel. Not really a huge fan of either of them, but Bach, I mean, it's amazing. So Sibelius would be spelled S-I-B, like boy, E-L-I-U-S. And he was a Finnish composer, and he died in the early 20th century. He did a lot of his composing in the early 20th century. Really lush, late romantic, early modern kind of transitional period. Sounds like a lot of 40s film music. Bex likes Rachmaninoff. I like Rachmaninoff.
Holst is another one.
Yeah. Holst, I love the Planets. Is a beautiful piece. It's really awesome. I never got to play it, which is kind of one of my big regrets that I never got to play it, because the string part is pretty great. But Bex says the cello suites, which is a big part of viola repertoire. The viola is one octave higher than the cello, so we always play the cello suites. And I have played many of the cello suites, and they are beautiful, very satisfying to play. Yeah. Zenny likes Air on a G String, a beautiful piece.
Yeah, I like that one.
A very, very famous piece. Yeah, that's a great piece. I love the Brandenburg concertos. I played the solos in those when I was in high school. I played the solos in those, and they're great pieces. I love all the Well-Tempered Clavier. I love the masses, like the Mass in B minor is amazing. I love all the organ repertoire. I mean, there's nothing that Bach wrote that I don't like, because it's all good. My mother used to play it for me when I was a baby. She would play the 2-part inventions and the 3-part inventions while I was in my crib. I mean, pretty great stuff. Yeah, and Yo-Yo Ma's performance of the cello suites, they are absolutely beautiful. And he re-recorded them later in life, and the difference is interesting. So can't say which I like better, but I like them both. And yeah.
All
so
right. Let's spin.
Let's spin.
Like,
this is not a classical music stream.
We could totally do one. That'd be fun.
We could. We could.
All right.
I love
that. Good luck, everyone.
Yes.
And now this is supposed to play music. I shared my audio, so hopefully it works. I think that worked.
It's so loud.
Sorry to blast everyone's ears off, but Lady Metalhead.
Congratulations, Jess.
Yay!
You got your pick of a book.
Jess was just here today. She was here just before the stream because I gave her some of Steven's shrimps. The shrimps who've had babies.
The blue is nice. Yep. Grand baby shrimp. Okay, so I recorded the winner, so I guess this gets saved in some way.
It gets archived for your records.
Mm-hmm.
Giveaway tool.
For your records.
There's a lot of features on FishFam Link lately.
Man, Matt is always working so hard for us, and I am such a huge supporter of fishfam.link. But on the other hand, he wants to steal Fat Kitty. Come on, Matt. This is my cat. You can't steal my cat. I mean, it's bad enough. Jess probably wants to steal him. She loves Fat Kitty. She was rubbing Fat Kitty's belly.
So this is if you're concerned, you haven't seen someone in a while. You can stalk them.
You can see their chat history. Yep.
You can see, well, not like where they were last seen. So like
where was I last seen?
And the last comments left, that was all. You can also see that.
Scary.
I guess it is all publicly available.
Oh yeah, I mean, you go into a chat, whatever you say in the chat is
if you don't want people seeing you in chat, don't chat.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're publicly showing your chat there. It's the same thing here. It's just in a different platform.
Kelley. Kelley, you have a giant cabinet of Asian condiments.
I do.
You said that at 12:43 p.m. and 48 seconds
I
today.
have a huge cabinet of Asian condiments.
And you said it on Afternoon Delight. Right.
I said it to Rico.
That's really cool.
It is really cool. So see, if I didn't want people to know that, I shouldn't have said it. You know, I guess now you all know I have a lot of Asian condiments. Steven, he's been threatening to steal Rin. People, stop stealing our cats.
Stop having adorable cats.
Rin
exactly.
Is so
it's your fault that you have cute pets.
How
Rin
do you not want to just take the
ball
floof?
of kitty.
I know.
He's very handsome. He has ear curlies. Oh, his ear curlies are so nice. So Big Kitty also has those because Big Kitty is a fluffy kitty. They're his furnishings, and he's very sensitive furnishings. He does not like me to touch them. He's very fussy about that. So,
what did I last say?
Yeah, what did you? Were you? Where? Yeah.
Stefan 00123.
Is that your alter? Is that like evil Steven?
Look at all these Stevens who have chatted in Fish Fam streams.
Oh, look, there's two Steven P2003.
Yeah, there is. Because one of them is like a moderator account for the work I do for Dan.
Oh, right.
So which one is which?
Oh, you have a separate account for that.
Well, yeah, it's like the brand account, which is this account with all the subscribers and stuff, and then there's like the one that's actually linked to that same email address.
Yeah.
This is definitely the one from Dan's stream because I'm like, all right, Johnny, I did the thing, which meant I ordered the puffer. Man,
I think you're gonna need some puffery friends, but it'll be a while before Dan gets those.
Yeah, and for now, I'm working on making this more densely planted. Like this is an older video behind me. I put a ton more plants. I've decided to just give up on the crypt only idea, just so I can make it a jungle, and I'm not going to wait for everything to fill in.
They're slower.
And as the crypts grow, eventually you can slowly pull out the plants.
You know, all you got to do is just put some Java ferns in there.
I did.
I just thinned these Java ferns yesterday because I was tired of not being able to see my tank. And you can always thin them back. Java ferns are never a bad move. They're always a good move.
Yeah, here I can show you what I did yesterday, actually.
Oh, that looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks really different from when I was at your house.
Yeah, I mean, the crypts have started growing more too. I've added a few. I've moved some around as I figure out what the crypts are as they grow back. I'm like, now we got to get the taller ones towards the back. And I need to fill in more of the right side, like bring more of this dense vegetation forward. I would like for her to have multiple choices for going and hiding so she can kind of travel between the paths.
She'll feel better that way. Beck says, "Get out of my head, Kelley."
Yeah, she did say the same thing. She was like, Java ferns right here. And I'm like, yes, perfect. And I have plenty of Java ferns. So
it's gonna really improve that scape too. It'll soften a lot of the lines. Yeah, no, that's a good choice. Good choice. Good call. If you don't like
Java
them,
ferns will grow well.
Yeah. My Java ferns are out of control because I've been fertilizing so heavy the past like 3 to 4 months. And it's really like they just suck it down. So Coreworks asks, one of my swords is successfully putting out baby leaves after I got frustrated chasing a Corey around and chopped them down completely. Only took a month and a half to recover. They do recover, though. I mean, I chop mine all the time, but I have CO2, so they're growing.
Yeah. Well, if you chop all the leaves off, that's when it takes that month or two for it to come back.
Yeah, that takes time. But I cut the outside of the rosette.
Yeah. When you do that, when I do that, I feel like the sword comes back with a vengeance. Like when you just trim the outer leaves, it's like, okay, I'm gonna make twice as many leaves as you trimmed.
Depends on the sword. The Hydroponic Pearl sword is a very well-behaved, modest sword. You can even have it in the foreground of or like the mid-ground of a small tank. I have one baby of that, but it is going to Mike when he finally comes home. I have been saving it. I should post a picture of the baby I've propagated for him, waiting for him to return because he wants Hydroponic Pearl.
And here's something. If you're willing, I will lay dibs on the next baby of that Hydroponic Pearl that you have.
Deal.
Yeah.
Whatever year it happens.
It's yours.
All right.
We gotta wait to remove this one though, because it did have 2 babies on that one. I gave one to Jess at the Mellows. Oh, it looks like another stock is coming up. So we'll let that one go. And
after you send that one to Myrtle, you can send that to not me. I don't want any more swords.
Okay. Well, somebody else will want it. If not, I'll just give it to Jess. It's where I give all my plants. But yeah, I'll send you that one, Myrtle. It is a very well-behaved sword.
Thank you.
Very attractive and very small for swords. In fact, I had it in the back of my tank for a long time, and it didn't do well because it was kind of just overshadowed by everything, and it didn't do well until I finally moved it to the front. So, yeah. Whip says, "You freaking people and your green freaking thumbs. God, you frustrate me." We're trying, Whip. We're trying to help you out, wet your plant. We're trying.
Whip, RO water.
Yep.
Well, or immersed plants. Seriously, immersed plants. You could have beautiful house plants growing out of your tank with very little work. Get those apothecaries, put leca in them, and cheap old $20 plant light. It's yeah, and it would also really help remove a lot of nitrates from your tank. That's what I would recommend. Beck says, "Very pretty sword." Hydroponic Pearl, very nice sword, very nice. Oh, hi Puffer, you're so pretty.
I did a super slow-mo just to watch his fins go, the little figure 8 thing.
I know the way they go.
I thought she was a girl, or can we just not tell?
I mean, her. I don't know. It's her. I say her. I'm supposed to say her. Sometimes I say him. But Johnny said it was female.
Well, Johnny would know more than I would.
I believe Johnny.
I believe Johnny too.
Although I don't see Johnny in chat, and I feel like he should be here and that they should be like playing the stream in the warehouse.
You should have this stream on blast in the warehouse because we are trying to help you learn to grow plants, guys. We're trying to help you.
What is this crap? Your timeline has a few gaps. Add your missing memories now. No, Google.
No, you can't have my immortal soul, Google. It's mine. I sold it to Pharma.
Not now.
She is a pretty girl, Bex. She's so pretty. Teresa Tater, Benjamin says, that's a good name. Teresa Tater. I like that.
I took this video yesterday.
Where is this?
This is my backyard.
Yeah.
All of this is wild blackberries that just appeared.
Ooh.
And
they're a pain in the butt.
there's this. What do you mean it's a pain in the
But,
butt?
but you're gonna harvest so many blackberries, and then you're gonna
They
make stuff
are
with
good,
it,
but like they're
preserves or
invasive.
whatever.
They're invasive, and like if you try to clear them, like the easiest way to do it is to rent some goats.
I don't want to do that. In
Okay.
fact, I'm not even moving this fallen limb because it's growing on top of it, and it's like scaffolding. And there's just like so many berries. I told Jenna next grocery trip you got to get the cobbler stuff.
And guess what? You say this is invasive. It's nothing like mint. Like if you put
Mint
one
is,
sprig
oh
of mint
my
in your
God.
backyard, your whole backyard will become mint. And then even if you uproot it all, it'll come back and it'll go into other backyards and it'll
True.
never
It's so
disappear.
invasive.
There's no way to get rid of mint.
It's true. I have mint growing in my bog box of my pond, but I don't mind it there. And
I'm
I do
totally
use
fine
it.
with berries invading the backyard.
Yeah. There's only so much mint you can harvest and use. I mean,
There's only so much mint tea you can drink.
Only so many mojitos.
It's true. There's only so many you can make. So Benjamin has just supported fishfam.link.
thank you, Benjamin.
Awesome.
Thank you for supporting the website that supports us. But that doesn't take away from the fact that, Matt, stop trying to steal Fat Kitty. Just stop. He's my kitty.
Watch for the snakes hiding in the berry bushes. Luckily, all we ever see around here are garden snakes.
That's good. I thought you had bad snakes down there.
Well, we do. Well, we have water moccasins, but
yeah, but
they're not going to be in that.
Right.
They're going to be in the ditches and the ponds and stuff.
Right. So CoraWorks asks, so when you guys talk about hardness being too high for plants, is that related to CO2 being locked out? How will RO help Whipster? Oh, I like that. Yes. I mean, we could explain it maybe a little more precisely, but yes, the higher your KH is, the more CO2 you need to inject, the less bioavailable dissolved CO2 is from the water column. So
didn't you have an analogy that explained why that's the case? Like why carbonate inhibits CO2 bioavailability?
I did, but I can't remember.
It was something about Coke, like the drinking kind of Coke.
I can't remember.
It was in our, so yeah, it's in episode 1 of Wet Your Plants.
Go back and look at it. But yes, that's why people who have very, very low KH water are always like, look how great my no CO2 tank looks. I never use CO2. I don't need it. I'm amazing. I'm awesome. Fuck you. You have great water. So MD fish tanks, for instance, he doesn't use CO2. His water is very, very low KH. He can get away with it. Fishimon has a beautiful planted tank, or several planted tanks. They're beautiful. Doesn't use CO2. Very, very low KH water. So if you're unlucky enough to,
and all you people in the Portland, Washington area as well,
Seattle, that great Seattle water, so soft. Bex has very low KH water.
Colorado, some places in Boston,
Wyoming has very low KH water. So
Washington DC, some of the places there have.
And my parents who live 30 minutes from me, their water's TDS of like 6.
Yeah.
Okay, time to build a pipe that just runs from your parents' house to your house.
I wanted to set up an aquarium for them. I'm like, look, this would be really
so easy.
It would be, because like, look, you wouldn't have hardly any major algae problems. I would put some simple plants in there. Like the thing would take care of itself.
Yeah, put some little tetras in there. Yeah, they would love it. I mean, when I lived in Iowa, it was a lot harder. I mean, and my water was so hard there. So hard. So yeah, RO water is one way to get around that. Injecting CO2 is going to make things easier, but it's, you still, the higher your KH is, even with, you have to inject way more CO2, and there's still a lot of species you can't grow. Not a lot, but like, the finer rotalas I can't grow. Some of the Ludwigias I can't grow. My water's too hard. But if you have that Seattle soft water on the tap injecting CO2, there's nothing you can't grow. I mean, I guess there's some, like nobody can grow high grow chai.
Yeah.
Nobody.
It's
It
just
just
a
doesn't
big-
exist.
It's just a joke.
It's a joke,
big
man. Nobody long term can grow pink flamingo cryptid.
Yeah, I mean, even if you give those two plants lab conditions, they still are fussy.
Yeah, but
I'm tired of people showing me their pink flamingo that they've had for like a week. I'm like, okay,
well,
'cause
I mean,
it's
I'm
good
like,
for you.
sure,
It's
yeah,
good for you.
yeah. Come back to me in a year. Let's see.
Like
Mhm.
if you have a pink flamingo that's been established for a couple of weeks and months, and you have babies coming off of it, like Zen does, then I will. Okay, now you have my respect. Like I envy you now.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, Zen, also Greg's Planet Tanks.
yeah. It's
and I
just
believe Fishimon also
and
had
mine
a pink
did well
flamingo.
for like I think they did well for 6 or 8 months, and then a little algae crept in, and that's that.
Yeah, that's where mine died too.
Yeah.
They just get stuck in the same place in the substrate for too long without the mold disappearing enough. They just melt from the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm uncomfortable with all this talk about taking my cat.
Donnie's
Stop.
laying next to me purring. He wants to know when his new brother, Fat Kitty, will be here soon.
How about Dumb Kitty? Do you want Dumb Kitty? I mean, I love Dumb Kitty, but come on.
Look,
Live
Fat
here.
Kitty is totally safe because in order for Matt to steal Fat Kitty, he has to travel
It's true.
to you.
That's kind of a drive.
Or you have to pay someone enough to come in and sneak into Kelly's house and ship Fat Kitty out.
Oh, we got Snooch here with the brag, 2-year-old.
2 years.
flamingo.
Wow.
Not just flamingo; it's a carpet of it.
Wow. Well, and
Are you
Snoop-
on? Are you on the Discord, Richard? If you could take a picture
Yeah,
of
we
that
wanna
carpet and
see
share that.
No, Snooch is another one of those people who has stopped water out of the tap, I believe. Oh.
Look at what Beck said.
In their tank when they go to sleep and kill those damn flamingos just for
I'm trying not to laugh because of allergies and everything, but that.
Oh, that's good. Wow. And Lady Metalhead says, "Don't worry, Kelly. I'll fight Matt over." And I 100% believe that Jess could take Matt. I 100% believe there's no way he could put up a fight against her. She is.
What
so
if Matt
strong.
brings Mike with him though?
And Melissa. I mean, you can't win against Melissa.
I do not see Mike fighting for a cat. I don't think Mike cares about cats in the slightest. He's a dog person. I don't think he likes
What you
cats.
can do, Kelly, you can enlist Bex to be fighting with you against Matt.
True. It's true.
So that I can go over to Colorado and take
I
Rain.
can take Matt on my own, people.
Rain will be mine if Bex is busy fighting with you against Matt.
I can take Matt all by myself. I have a black belt in Taekwondo. I was a national champion in forms and sparring in college. I can take Matt. But so can Jess. So, yeah. But no, don't steal my cat. Just don't steal my cat.
And Jenna dropping a link to the fish cord.
Yes, please join us.
Oh, of course. Snooch says there's a few videos on his channel with that tank's progress.
All right. We're going to have to.
I am so behind. Well, I say I'm behind. It's not like I'm going to be able to ever catch up on videos.
Yeah.
I just, whenever I have time to watch a video, I will scroll down my feed. And if I see something cool, I like in a thumbnail, that's kind of how I am. The thumbnail has to appeal to me.
I let the videos
YouTuber.
collect up in my watch later playlist, and then when I have time to watch videos, I look through and see, oh, do I want to watch this or this video? And then, so basically, I add 20 or 30 videos a day, and then I watch 3 videos a day. So I'm adding 27 every day. It just gets bigger and bigger, and then once a year or two,
Well, there
I
you go.
purge the list.
That's how to catch up.
So Snooch says his water is not too different from mine. His KH is 7, so is mine. You know,
mine's technically less than his 2 to 6, depending on
and his
how you
started
invest it.
with tissue cultures. I have never tried starting them from tissue culture. Maybe
It's
that's
even
something
worse.
to
I've tried it. I've tried immersed tank growth and tissue culture. Tissue culture is by far the worst if you're not doing like proper dry start. Like dry
So
start,
we
the
just
effective dry start
have to
methods.
find out what kind of sacrifice to the devil he made.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, it's not just one. It's probably multiple sacrifices there.
Every day.
He's built the
Here,
sacrifices.
Satan,
I
thank
have
you for this
spent
carpet.
so much money on that plant. I mean, the other high-end crypt I have is Spiralis Tiger, and that one is super slow, but it gets there. It's fine.
Hmm.
That one's fine. Eventually, I'll have enough of that propagated. I can give you some, Stephen, but it is so slow.
I
And
actually
the
I
other
do
crypt
have
is
one sprig
shaded.
of Spiralis Tiger
Oh,
from
good.
Luke, and it's still just one plant of it.
It's so slow, and the other crypts keep growing up and shading it out. So, you know,
Oh yeah.
it's a real problem. But there was some other comments up here. Coralworks says, "How many orange cats can we put in Kelly's house as decoys?" I have a funny story about that. So last fall, there are a lot of stray cats in this neighborhood, and last fall, Fat Kitty ran away, and I didn't have glasses on. I can see okay without glasses, but not distances. There were 7 orange cats on the street and Fat Kitty, and we're like, which one is he?
Was it none of them?
He did come home. He did come home, but I'm like, you know what? Whichever cat comes in first, that's it.
That's Fat Kitty from now.
That's right. And you're just getting replaced, Fat Kitty. And
And he ran off again recently, like in the last couple of months, didn't he?
did. When was that? Like we had a day in maybe it was February that was unseasonably warm. And
Yeah, like he was gone for a solid 24 hours, wasn't he?
yeah, I was scared.
I would be too.
He makes poor life choices. He doesn't. I mean, these cats aren't that smart. Let's face it.
Is he fixed or like?
He is
Okay,
fixed.
so he's just going out for no reason.
Yeah, and this new kitty, I'm gonna get him fixed too,
Hmm.
and his brother, and that needs to happen soon. They're males, but we have enough cats in this neighborhood. I mean, since I live near downtown, there's so many stray cats, just so many, just cats everywhere. So Matt gave a link of the cat he'll use as a decoy. I'm not on YouTube, so I can't click it. Fish and Floral says, "I just got some plants from LRB. Let's hope I don't kill him." You can do it. I'm sure he sold you easy plants. That's all he keeps. So you can do it.
Yeah, I've got crips from him,
I've got
and in fact, my very first guppy grass I got for free at the end of Aquashell when he was giving them away.
Oh, that was
It
nice.
was just like a little bag of guppy grass, and I've sent out pounds and pounds of it. I have pounds of it.
Yeah.
People like it. I mean, I don't know if I would ever use it in anything other than breeding tanks.
Yeah, it's really good for breeding. I mean, if you really want to have a lot of guppies, that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
So
I'm not sure
Myrtle
if it would be
doesn't want
useful
it.
for quarries though.
I don't think so. I've never heard of people needing guppy grass to spawn quarries, but because I wouldn't know much about it.
Anything of that size for the eggs, basically. Guppy
Yeah.
grass, Melodia, mosses.
Yeah. If you're trying to colony breed rainbows, well, they'll spawn in anything. Rainbows are not hard to breed; they're hard to raise because they're so tiny, and it takes a long time to grow them up. I mean, it can take 18 months to raise.
Every rainbow fry that I've raised was it raised itself. Like
Yeah,
I transferred some
that
Anubia to a
happens.
snail tank and little fries in there,
Mhm.
and before I even notice it's in there, it's already past that delicate needs micro food stage.
Because that's when they feel comfortable coming out. So they're hiding the rest of the
Yeah,
time. So you don't notice that there's fry.
Right.
yeah.
And
But
but then they're like, "Where did you come from? And what are you? What genetics do you have?"
yeah. But you're not going to sell them, so whatever.
Nah, they're
You
just
can
pets.
keep them. You can just keep them. Yeah, it's but they're pretty easy to get rainbows to spawn. I mean, with a mop or whatever. But they take a long time if you're trying to raise them. You have to start
Yeah.
them on really tiny food, like golden pearls is popular, or live, like infusoria.
I have golden pearls, but now I'm wondering, did I even get the right size? I didn't realize there's a million different sizes.
Yeah, I think it's
They go down to like 1 micron.
I think it's the 50 micron that people feed.
Oh, that's what I got. Yay.
Yeah, I think you're okay. But they yeah, that's a popular first food, and then it's just baby brine for months and months and months to get them to like a saleable size. So that's why rainbows cost a lot of money because
Yeah.
they took someone a long time to raise up.
I've been doing baby brine pretty consistently.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's liquid gold.
And then no planaria because Hydra.
Oh,
And a couple of tanks. Jenna's tank got it really bad.
really?
It doesn't happen in the rainbow tanks because they
Yeah, they'll
will
pick
eat
it up.
Um, Usually there's guppies in Jenna's tank, but I guess not enough because the mosh pit never gets Hydra either.
No, they wouldn't. I don't think any of my tanks would get Hydra because in my smallest tank I have all of those Danio Bray, and
They'll nibble on Hydra.
yeah, they're voracious fish. They're a lot like rainbows in that way. Okay, you start your CPDs on 5 to 10.
I mean, I could see that CPDs.
They need small,
teeny.
Gosh, you have bred so many of those. So many of those. I've heard that they're good in a tub.
Yep.
They're good.
And about the Hydra, in my shrimp tank, I do get Hydra occasionally.
Oh.
I don't feel like buying meds and all to fix it. I just take a syringe and peroxide over the Hydra until they just shrivel up and die, and it gets the job done. So
yeah.
Oh, I've always been told, like, if you leave even like a cell of Hydra alive, it's gonna reproduce. But I guess it needs to have the food availability.
But I mean, peroxide basically, it's a like it kills all organics. So if I just put 5 milliliters of peroxide all over one Hydra slowly, it's killing that individual Hydra just immediately.
Yeah.
Now, if you got a 55-gallon tank with like 1,000 of them.
So Coral Works says, Kelley, my Danio Chopra all seem to hide around the bottom of the tank. Even my endlers are braver and will swim in the corners, higher flow areas and such. What are your experiences? So I don't know when you got yours, but I would say like it took 2 weeks for mine to settle in, and they did all hide in the corner at first. But now they're super out and about, swimming the whole length of the tank. They're very midwater swimmers. Yeah, so maybe, I don't know when you got yours, maybe you need to give them time. Maybe your endlers are bothering them. I have cories, I have pygmy cories in there, but pygmy cories don't bother anything. So I don't know if maybe the endlers are bothering them. I don't know. But mine are pretty bold, but it did take them some time. They were a little skittish at first. I like them though because they're very zippy, and I like zippy fish. So
Benjamin asking, how does golden pearls compare to co-op fry food?
Much smaller.
Yeah, I would say the co-op fry food is maybe the grain size is like baby brine or something.
Yeah, roughly.
I don't know.
I don't know any rainbow breeder who uses it. I mean, they all. I mean, I don't breed fish, so please take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But it seems like I haven't heard of a single rainbow fish breeding them. I think some maybe use ceramicron, but golden pearls like
anything that is smaller than a guppy fry probably wouldn't eat co-op fry food from the get-go. Like guppies are probably the smallest fish that would eat co-op fry food from the get-go.
I wouldn't feed the co-op fry food to the orange Venezuelan cories either. Like those cory eggs are like half the size of the cory eggs I'm used to seeing. And of course they lay them in much higher quantities.
Yeah, no
kidding. It looks like it's just a cloud of white dots.
Wow.
Cory eggs. That's how it looks. Yeah.
Didn't you get like 70 of those in one?
Oh,
I think they have hundreds now. Don't you have hundreds?
We had hundreds of eggs. That last hatch with hundreds of eggs, though, it was not it wasn't viable. I think maybe most of them hadn't been fertilized yet because like they were laying eggs while Jenna was just getting them off the glass. So
they're like, we gotta replace these all.
there was one fry in there that I managed to save. The rest of them kind of, even with the methylene blue, fungused over, like because they were all in a big pile together. And I imagine that's not the best way to hatch them out.
Yeah, but you'll raise more of them.
I mean, we already got. I mean, we already have more fry than the orange Venezuelans than we could possibly handle once they're full grown. So
yeah, but someone was mentioning in chat another time you guys were talking about the orange Venezuelans was you want to save as many as you can because you never know when they'll stop breeding.
Kaplan said that, yeah.
Like Scotty's plecos, they stopped breeding for him. So when the colony,
your guppies will stop breeding for you, Myrtle.
Oh, well, I am intentionally getting them to stop breeding. I'm feeding less and less and less, hoping that they'll eventually, well, in a correct way to say it, they will eventually fizzle out and other fish can be put into the tank.
Myrtle has like a death camp going on in his
He's like got them on like crash diets.
Basically, yeah. Like if I see fry, it's like you guys aren't eating your fry.
You're all going on diets.
So you tell them you got food at home.
Say that again, please.
I say you tell them you got food at home instead of giving them. It's like, look, you got fry swimming around.
Restaurants closed. Yeah, so Geek Boy says he starts feeding co-op fry food when they're big enough to take BBS. Okay, yeah. So there you go. Okay. Not the tiniest of foods. I don't breed fish except for Medaka, gold Medaka. I breed those.
You're doing a great job with breeding those too.
The platinum Miyuki, I bred some of those too. So I can breed rice fish, which is just got to tell you they're the easiest fish ever to breed. Because I don't try to breed anything. So which am I more likely to do, breed fish or DIY? It feels like people who are really into fish breeding do a lot of DIY.
Yeah. Fish breeding requires DIY. DIY does not require fish breeding. So if you only want to do one, you'd probably go the DIY route.
It depends on what you're breeding, because like there's no DIY involved if you're doing guppies.
But Kelley does not like
never getting a guppy.
Right.
If I accidentally get a guppy,
you wouldn't think twice before calling in and going to the goldfish.
I'll give it to the metalheads. They'll take it.
I mean, if you do rainbows, you're gonna at least. I mean, you can buy spawning mops too. I guess you don't have to make them.
I guess
it would be much more cost effective to make your own spawning mops.
I would make a spawning mop. That's low level DIY.
Those are really easy to make.
And it's kind of like knitting. Like I do knit, so I'm comfortable with yarn.
And you have the materials already.
I have the mop yarn if I ever wanted to do it. So
what is there a specific color of spawning mop that people seem to prefer for different fish? No. I've seen them in green and black.
I like the green because it just looks the most natural and works with plants.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But you want acrylic, and people like the Red Heart Super Saver because I can tell you as a knitter, it is the cheapest, most indestructible yarn. It's awful to knit with. It squeaks in your hands, but it's good for mops. But it's not good. You couldn't pay me to knit with it. I'm a yarn snob, though. I only knit with really good yarn. So, yeah. But people really like that one color of Red Heart, the bright green. So.
Okay.
But I don't think it matters. You could use purple. You could use blue. I mean, you wouldn't want to use white because you couldn't see the eggs. So you want to use something sufficiently dark.
Right.
Could probably use black.
Aquatic Moose made it in, and missed the hydro wall.
But thank you so much. I could not have done it without you. As you can see, it looks pretty good.
It does.
It looks pretty good. I mean, the pain will go away with time.
The DIY trauma.
The pain will go away. But there was a lot of pain.
So Matt made a member milestone chat that you can't see, but he said, Kelley, you can come visit him anytime.
He's really far from my parents' house. My parents are probably a good maybe 3 hours from him, 3.5. I mean, they're on the other end of the state, so pretty far from that. Also, I never visit my parents in Iowa. We always go. We always just meet at my sister's house in Wisconsin because that's where the kids are.
Yeah,
I haven't
I
haven't been to Waterloo in years.
I can see.
Okay. You guys froze for a second, so I didn't know if it was my connection.
Okay.
Jenna, he's always trying to steal Fat Kitty. Fat Kitty does not travel well. I mean, I'll take him to the vet and he'll just go meow, 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 meow the whole time. It's so funny. I mean,
Does he lash out at the vets though, or just
no,
meow?
he just meows pathetically, and they think it's so funny. They're like, "Oh, let's pet his fat little body." They think he is so funny because he just meow, meow, meow. Just he's a very dramatic.
So do people use spawning mops in planted tanks? Because that's my problem. Is
Yeah,
I
because
set up
they're
a tank and then they get planted, and then are they going to use the mop or are they going to go somewhere
They
else?
will sometimes they will use a mop. They'll be incentivized to use it. So you can get more of the eggs in the mop and just move that over rather than having across every single plant in the tank.
yeah, it's way easier to get them to spawn in the mop because you don't want to rip out your aquascape to move them to another tank because people like to play musical tanks.
I don't.
I don't breed fish, but people who do breed fish, a lot of them, what they'll do is they'll take a trio of rainbows and they'll put it in a nicely seasoned tank and they'll feed them up good with bloodworms. That's good to get eggs in the bellies. And they'll let them spawn into mops, spawn into mops, spawn into mops, and then they will remove the parents and raise them up in that tank. That's a pretty popular way to do it.
Yeah, probably ensures better hatching instead of moving them and
Yeah. So
changing
Coral
them.
Works asks, can you buy fish hormones to put in the mops? I suppose you can, but rainbows they just spawn and spawn and spawn and spawn.
And it would probably be different for every single fish species you want to
Yeah.
breed. Corydora hormones will not work for a neon tetra, well, probably the same waterway. But a Corydora will not work with African cichlids, for example. Those hormones probably don't match.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely don't.
I have never heard of them being available for sale. I have heard of people using
continuous systems so that
or if you have
breeding
a
sets
tank
others.
of one species of cory that's spawning, you can take the water from that and add it to
the Corydora guy who does it.
Eric Bodrock
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. He has.
There's a man who really knows a lot about cories. I'm not that person.
Ian Fuller, I believe, too. I don't remember if he's also a
Jerry
cory guy.
Jost.
Ian Fuller, he's a cory guy for sure.
Jerry Jost is a super big cory guy in Missouri. I just don't really breed fish, so not a good person to ask. But it's just not hard to get rainbows to spawn. They spawn all the time. I mean, every morning I watch them spawn. The eggs are so tiny I wouldn't see them, but I see the spawning behavior, and I know
it's a raising of the rainbow fly that's hard. It's not the breeding because they'll spawn readily.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Which
is also why you want to keep your rainbow lines separate because they will breed anything that looks remotely close to them.
And some people will be like, "Oh, but this one's a Chalatharina and this one's a Glossolepis." No, those are cross. You got to keep them separated. And that's why if you see certain YouTube creators, I will not mention names, who have tanks with no lids and rainbows, I mean, all it takes is one rainbow to jump. And
even if you have tanks separating the rainbows, you can still have one jump from one tank to the other and then jump from this one to the next.
Yeah.
And if you keep a buffer tank in between,
it happens with guppy breeders too, like the ones that have all their tanks together. It happens all the time. Get one of them nasty
mass producing guppy farms. They don't fill their water up to the top. If they have the big troughs, the giant ones, they fill it quite low so that they look at how high a guppy will jump so that they don't.
Yeah.
They
I
risk as little as
personally,
possible.
I would not buy rainbows from someone who didn't use lids, a breeder. I mean, if they had a species that I was trying to save from extinction, okay, but I wouldn't choose to buy rainbows from someone who didn't use lids because they're not using best practices. Their lines are going to get crossed. It's not even a question of if, it's a question of when. Rainbows jump. They jump like crazy. They're the jumpiest fish. Well, no, I think killies are jumpier. Killies are really jumpy.
Yeah.
I think killies.
Splash chatters, I mean, it's in their name. They're
Well,
jumpy.
that's true. I mean, but that's part of their breeding is to,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
But yeah. So use lids with rainbows.
And then before we head on over to Scotty's stream, question from Vibes in the member milestone chat, member for 6 months. Discus and Geophagus or Discus and Bosemani rainbows?
Discus and Geophagus, those two will.
Geophagus.
Their water is the same, similar.
Yeah, and I don't think so first of all, rainbows don't really want to be as hot as discus need to be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be happy. And
they take the same water column roughly. Rainbows are active, discus are chill.
They're going to annoy the discus.
Yeah.
Because rainbows
Geos will stay at the bottom and work with the substrate while the discus chill up top. So, and they're from the same waterways too. So it's a better match.
The only mid-water swimming fish I would put with a rainbow, well, I would put another rainbow, but maybe it has to be a very zippy fish that will get to the food quick. So maybe like a
Daniels. Yep, Jinx,
a Daniels, because they're zippy. I would definitely not put them with discus. I wouldn't put them with angelfish. Like, rainbows are annoying. They're so dumb and they're so zippy and
like they're a good community fish, but you gotta pick the right tank mates for them. They have to be able to either keep up with them, be faster than them, or at least be tolerant.
Yep, I would agree with that. So
see, I knew Foxy and Pep wouldn't do that, right?
No lids or spawning mods. Yeah, I mean, you got to keep those tanks separated, really, really separated, because they'll jump, and it's just a question of when. And it's just best practices. If you're going to be serious about breeding rainbows, you have to cover your tanks.
And another thing, I've made this mistake before, so which is why I know. Like when you move a spawning mob, don't move it across tanks. Move it towards yourself so that it only crosses one tank and then goes anything that drips on the ground. Because if there was a fish in there, like a rainbow fry, or maybe even an egg that drips off with the water that drips off into another rainbow tank, you can't possibly fish a rainbow fry out from there. So drag it to yourself, only let it cross one tank.
That's good. That's very good, because also you have to be really careful. Like, you want to have a little bit of plants in your grow out tank.
So, but you don't want to move them from one tank to the other unless you have absolutely.
I mean, it's just so easy to get eggs transferred, because I've had that happen before. I moved into a quarantine tank, and I'm like, oh my god, there's a baby rainbow.
I didn't have any fish in there, and the rainbow fry started popping up in this tank. I'm like, oh, probably from the plants.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
All right. Yep. So Scotty should be going soon if he hasn't started already. So everybody head over there. I think the link was dropped.
The links are dropped in the chat somewhere. Jenna probably dropped it.
Yeah.
So good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Super Chatters. Happy birthday, Bex. We love you so much.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, mods. You were wonderful. Thank you, lurkers. Thank you, replay crew. And thank you, everyone, for chatting and participating. Thank you, Mike, for your kind gift to everyone.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. And hopefully next week, Ted Kelley.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Knocking on wood.
Sweet.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.